Happy Monday morning. Happy spring. We had a time change over the weekend. So, although this is live and I usually do it from the comfort of my bed, it feels like 9:30 instead of 9:45 instead of 8:45. So, I'm ready to really dig deep into attachment styles today because it's such an important topic. And as you're reading and learning more about why you connect the way you do with certain people and your partners, it's really important to understand that all this information is so great, but if you're not understanding how to work with all this information, then you're just going to gather information. You're just going to have this list of this is who I am. I'm an attachment style, and this is my love language, and this, and you're going to have this dossier of like a CV of all the things that you've identified yourself with, but you're not actually going to move forward in your life and in your love life until you really dig deep into what it all means and how does it apply to you. So today I want to talk about attachment styles by checking in with you. And when I check in, it's about my experience with the topic that we're talking about today with attachment style. And I find all this information really fascinating because it's relatively new information, attachment style theory. And again, it's more of these psychological type of labels that we use. And it's great and it's fascinating. But there's more to you than just your labels. So I want you to take everything that you've learned with a grain of salt, but also understand that it's just information. Okay? So that you don't box yourself in because we evolve every day. And this is really why we're here. We're here to evolve. We're here to grow. We're here to learn and be better people and to live better lives and to connect better with the people around us. And if you're not on the path of growth and learning, which I'm assuming you are because you're listening to me and you're in my group, then then you know then just keep reading. But I'm here to help you along your path. So let's get into what all this attachment style is, and basically, this morning's check-in is all about learning how to use what you know about yourself. And if you don't know what your attachment style is, then that's okay. I'm going to be talking about attachment styles tomorrow in a big way. But today I want to talk to you about how I turned myself from a secure attachment style to not to a more anxious style attachment. What I mean by that is I identify myself as a secure attachment person. I did actually. But when I started learning about, attachment styles and really understanding where I landed in the scale of attachment styles, what came up for me was anxious attachment style first, then secure, and then avoidant. So basically there are three attachment, or four attachment styles because the avoidant attachment style is broken down into two. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But I identified as somebody who was secure because when I was young, I used to be able to play by myself. I would entertain myself. I didn't need anybody with me all the time. My mother would say I was her favorite because of that. I was very easygoing. And I identify myself as someone who's more secure. However, when I identified sort of the range of the styles within myself, I understood that my anxious style attachment was pretty close to my secure. And then I was able to go back and see what that meant for me. And I looked at of course, my marriage, my most significant relationship, and what happened in that relationship to turn me into an anxious style attacher, which happened after. So what I realized was that, prior, like I said, when I was younger in my teens and in my 20s, I was so excited about living on my own. I was so excited to marry Tyler Moore was like my favorite TV show. And I was just like, can't wait until I'm 20. I can't wait until I'm 20 to get my own job, my own apartment, make my own breakfast and see my own friends. And I was so excited about that. And I did. Of course, I lived on my own. I had my own job. I went to school. I was very independent, very loved being by myself. I loved having my own time with myself, reading, and I would easily go to shows by myself. But I also had tons of friends. I was also very, I had lots of friends everywhere, and every time if I needed to go somewhere with somebody, there was always somebody there that was, inviting me or so in that way, I felt great about myself. And then when I started dating in my early 20s, and then when I met my ex-husband, I was 20 nothing, and I I had never been in a real relationship before. I dated, I had high school relationships, maybe dating somebody for a couple of months, but never a really significant relationship. So all I had for reference was my parents, and my parents did everything together. My mom couldn't go shopping unless my dad was with her. He was always the one to, drive her anywhere she needed. And I didn't realize that consciously until I met my ex-husband. And now I understand that he was an anxious attacher because all of a sudden he couldn't be away from me. He was always wanting to be with me. I kind of felt suffocated at the beginning, but there was nothing like wrong. Like it was a compliment that he wanted to be with me all the time. And then I convinced myself that this must be the way couples are. This must be what a relationship is because I didn't really understand how to be in a normal relationship, in a healthy relationship. So I thought, of course, I just had my parents as reference, and that's a whole other story. So I remember feeling very, very, like I said, suffocated, and he always needed to check in with me. Again, I reframed that in my mind that it was, that this is what, a loving couple is all about. This guy was really into me. He wasn't, there were some red flags, of course, around that because, like I said, I felt kind of suffocated at times, but I just kind of relaxed into it and enjoyed it as attention. And then, of course, we got married, and all that is history. But during my whole marriage, I sort of attuned myself into that anxious nervousness that he brought in. I accepted that as a new way of being instead of really, still, of course, a secure person. But then I became more anxious. I needed to check in with him more often. And my habits started changing around my self-esteem and my self-worth because he was doing other things in the relationship that made me doubt myself and made me doubt my own self-worth and self-love. So over time, I started developing an anxious style attachment because I forgot who I was and I forgot what it meant to feel secure and in myself. Not a good thing, right? In hindsight, I can see this and I can analyze it and go, huh, look at what happened there. I forgot who I was. I basically gave all my love power over to him instead of continually loving myself and creating a boundary around his anxious attachment style. I let him take over. I let him transform my secure attachment style into an anxious attachment style person because I started to feel unworthy because he made me feel unworthy in the sense that he would say things to me and I would accept it. So it was on me, it wasn't him. But it was interesting how now in hindsight I can see that relationship and see how um, my level of insecurity around relationships really allowed me to sabotage my own self and my own sense of security. So, what's the lesson for today in the check-in today? Look at the way you feel when you're with somebody. Do they make you feel secure? Do they make you feel anxious? So, somebody who's an anxious style attacher will basically manifest that anxious attachment style like I did later in life. So as I dated after I separated, I would be in my anxious attachment style. And guess what? I would attach to avoidance because they activated that within me. Not good. So, anyways, I don't want to get too much into attachment style theory, which I'm going to talk to you about tomorrow, but I will give you one thing to work on this week, and that is when you're with somebody and analyze your past relationships, especially the one that you're struggling with right now. Analyze it from this point of view of how did they make you feel? How did they activate your security in yourself, your sense of security, your sense of insecurity in yourself? Analyze the people in your life now. Analyze the friends that you have. Do they make you feel insecure? Do you feel like you're not worthy of their friendship on some level? Do you are you constantly waiting for them to call you back? Or do they make you feel secure and they give you proper information like, let's do this at this time and I'll come and get you, or let's do that? Think of your colleagues. Think of your employer. Think of everybody that you meet. Look at that. Look at the relationship, how they speak to you, how they show up for you. Are they in their integrity? Integrity is key to everything that we do when we're trying to heal from heartbreak. And we're trying to create boundaries, but at the same time, trying to break through our heart armor, right? So again, analyze people in your life. Just take a moment and think of how they activate your sense of anxiousness or sense of security. Do they make you feel confident? Do they make you feel, uneasy? Do you feel needy when you're around them? Right? So it's not about them. Remember, it's always about you. This is a journey of self-love. So take your time to spend time with yourself, and don't be afraid to analyze how you're feeling when you're with somebody. Do they activate a sense of feeling good about yourself, or do they make you feel like you need more, that you're not fulfilled, that you aren't getting what you need from that relationship? It's a fun time. It is spring. It is time to go upward. It's time to be expansive. It's time to really do this work on a huge level and show up for yourself. Staying in your integrity and showing up for yourself is key when you are healing from heartbreak. So remember, take your time this week to look at your relationships, look at your past relationships. How did they make you feel? Did they make you feel insecure? Did they make you feel secure? When you find somebody that makes you feel secure, that's the gold right there. Find that feeling and keep it with you all the time, okay? And go back to it. And the more you feel that security and that sense of, I'm okay and everything's going to be fine, the more you can activate it within yourself, okay? So have fun with this week. Find out more about attachment style theory. Tomorrow we're going to talk about it at noon. And this isn't just an extension of your learning. This is an extension of how you heal from heartbreak and how you can make better choices in your relationships. So join me tomorrow at noon. And also, if you haven't been in my masterclass yet, or you want a refresher even, don't forget to join me next Monday. We're going to have another masterclass. I've done some tweaks to it, and I'm going to be learning more things. So have a beautiful week, or tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Have a great day. Bye.